On March 28, I'm asking the first question now. We're going to the next round. There was an incident along the Abuja-Kaduna rail line when a train was attacked, was bombed twice, and at the end of the day, 8 persons lost their lives, many were injured, and over 60 persons were abducted. Since that March 28, the abducted persons were released in batches, causing so much agony for their families, for their friends. There were reports, some had to pay ransom, some had to negotiate, until the first week of September, when the last batch of 23 persons were released. The excuse given by the Buhari administration, please, can we have quiet in the hall? Please, who are those people making noise? So, if you were, the explanation given by the Buhari administration was that the government needed to save lives. The government needed to prevent collateral damage. If you were the commander-in-chief, what would you have done? Would you have handled the situation differently? I'd like to start with the candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi. Each candidate has 3 minutes. Mr. Peter Obi, you have the floor.
First for me is that I believe that there was a failure of intelligence processing, because before that incident happened, from information available, there were already indications of insecurity within that rail corridor, as well as previous attempts and intelligence that were ignored. So there was a failure of processing and giving due attention to intelligence, which I would have promptly dealt with. 2, when it happened, government action and communication were weak. If I was commander-in-chief, we would have acted swiftly, and throughout that process would have remained in communication and at least showing consistent empathy to the families of those that are involved. We would have done it differently. And I think that shows the overall need for us to improve the intelligence processing and giving to an immediate response whenever such situation arises. Thank you.
The civil society organization partnering with Arise News. Over the last 8 months, we've been doing extensive research with bandit terrorists in the Northwest. We've been able to trace a lot of their leaders and talk to them. And we've asked them, why are you killing Nigerians, kidnapping Nigerians, engaged in rape and such evil acts? And their response is very interesting. They say we live in a society where you have people in power who use security forces of the nation for their own personal interests, steal and loot the treasury, and are protected because they have power. And therefore, the sets of activities we are engaged in, they tell us, is very similar. The 4 of you are all people who have spent decades in power in this country. If you meet one of these bandit leaders and he challenges you by telling you there is no difference between us and you, what would you respond?
Thank you. like you, I've been able to go around or also met some of those criminals as well. And based on that, I've always said consistently that the more you pull people out of poverty, the more you reduce the criminality that is in the country. And I've always argued that they are doing what they are doing because they could see the poverty in the country. In a country where those people are in government, are richer than entrepreneurs, you manufacture poverty. But if they stop me and ask me, like you said, what will I tell them? I will tell them, well, as a governor, I served a state for 8 years. And you can go to that state and see not one day did I ever borrow from any financial institution in Nigeria. And that I was not in any position or have never been invited by anybody to question about their missing money. The day I left office, I wasn't owing any contractor that have delivered this project. I wasn't owing any supplier that have delivered. I was not owing pension, gratuity, salary, or anybody. And I can say that in 3 banks in Nigeria, Access Bank, Fidelity Bank, and Diamond Bank, I left in each $50 million, over 10 billion naira for the state. So if they meet me, I'll be able to account for myself and say, I've never borrowed, I've served faithfully, and I left their money. So I'm like them. I'm as angry as they are. That we must be able to chase out those who, where they've passed, nobody can account of what they were given. That is what we want to do. Thank you. Well, as governor, everybody knew what we did in community leadership. We were able to, using what we can call modern communication, using telephone and everything, to provide for every community a vigilante system that was working, provided them with vehicles, communication equipment, linking them to work with police. And you can go and see it. We are the only government that had every community was provided with pickup manpower that were paid directly by government. Thank you.
Our leaders need is 1, have the fear of God and love for humanity. Quickly to the question. This country that is so highly blessed and bountiful has been totally eradicated, reduced to the mud. There is no doubt about it. Now my question goes to you, Your Excellency, Dr. Peter Obi. Peter Obi. How are you going to address this issue that is so endemic? As a matter of fact, I'm almost going gaga. It's not normal to be normal in such an abnormal situation no more. How will you address this very endemic issue of Namu Namune, Awalokon, and Mukolu? It's so endemic. We're not moving forward with that. How will you address that issue? I know that you're the kind of man that will rescue, rehabilitate, reunify. And lastly, very importantly, I know you are the kind of person that will reorient the mindset of an African.
No political statements. Quiet in the hall. Quiet in the hall. No clapping, no noise from the hall. Mr. Peter Obi, he directed the question. Well, he said, how will you deal with a particular challenge that he has identified?
Well, I don't know how to start answering. I don't think there was a question, but let me just make this point very clear. Maybe I've had an opportunity now to address one thing. When Jibril asked me a question, I didn't make a comment about what I would answer if I was stopped by criminals. That was your question. Thank you. But let me also put it a point that when I left office by only one measure of development as at that time was Millennium Development Goals. By United Nations and Nigeria federal government, which is party I don't belong, run by party I don't belong, I was number one. I was number one in education. I was number one in health. I won the Bill Gates Prize. Federal government of Nigeria gave me the award for having the best road network in Nigeria. So, but that is aside. So saving money was in addition of excellent performance. You can go and verify. But that notwithstanding,
Quiet in the hall.
what we are here to do today, I've said before, on the comment image, do not vote for Peter Obi because I'm from the southeast, or because I'm an Igbo man, or because I'm a Christian, or because of any condition, or it's my turn. It's turn of Nigerian youth and women. It is nobody's turn. I want you to vote for Peter Obi because I'm qualified, because I'm competent, and I know what I can do to put this country out of the brink. That is what I'm contesting on. Thank you.